What's up, YSN Nation? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com, the home of Canfield football all season long. I'm proud of it. Player Profile Playoff Edition of the Canfield Cardinals from Cocca's Pizza on Wednesday night. Cannot thank Steve Cocca and their staff for all they've done for us in the Canfield Cardinals athletic programs all season long. Proud to be joined by two senior leaders, Toby Smith and Paolo Papalia. Thanks both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, I'll go to both of you first. Senior year, a phenomenal football team you played for last year, had an awesome playoff run. I was at that last game against Chardon. I want to ask the two of you your thoughts, and you can go one at a time. Take me back to that Chardon game. Last game of the year. You're disappointed, obviously, after a great year. You use a great group of seniors. You get on the bus, and now you're a senior. Is that where it starts to hit and you start thinking about what needs to be done?
Yeah, definitely. I know for me, like losing that game was like so heartbreaking just because I love playing with all those guys so much. They're like my best friends. And then I told Coach Sim, he was giving me a hug after the game. And I said, I want to make sure we don't feel like this next year. And like the next morning, I was just working out because I was so angry, like that we didn't make good on that opportunity.
Paulo, how was it for you? What do you remember?
Same here. I remember we were in this gym after the game. They put us in the gym, and everyone was just like, down and crying and everything. And the only thing that was going through my mind was next year to get to that point and past that point. And, now that we're in the playoffs, we have to take it one game at a time, but that's still, down the road a little bit. It's still in the vision.
That's what I love about Canfield football and Coach Pav and you guys as seniors. The grind of the day-by-day activity, the practice. As a senior group, what does this playoff run to mean to you guys as seniors now as two of the leaders and all the rest of the seniors as leaders of this football team? How more special is it than maybe last year?
I feel like it's your last chance to leave a legacy and try to become a team that people talk about 20 years later, like how we hear about the 2005 team. It kind of just be you want to become that team that everybody talks about.
Paulo?
Yeah, and also it's probably the last time we'll get to play football for the majority of the kids. So it's win or go home, and we're just leaving everything out on the field every time we go out there.
Well, Canfield Nation, you have a good football team. They're going to need you on Friday night as they get a home game. I want to go into that senior year opportunity to play 2 home games in front of the best student section maybe in town. I could say that. I can't get in trouble for saying that. The band, your families. Senior year to get those opportunities. Coach, when I talk with Coach Pav, I don't know how many players really appreciate the chance that you guys get to go do that. Talk about it a little bit.
We're very fortunate to do this, and all of us, I know everyone on the team is very thankful, and we understand that not too many teams get to do this, but being the 4th seed and 2 games in a row, well, potentially at home, that's the goal, and we don't want to let anyone down.
Yeah, I think first off, having the student section is great. I love the student section. I love after we score and we're getting ready to go on defense and when they're all cheering for us, and we look at them it's time to go.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite social media sites, the Canfield student section, the Barstool Sports, those interviews. Those are awesome. And that has to be good. Those are kids that you go to school with on a daily basis. Those, best friends. That's the unique part of Canfield High School, in my opinion. You guys all seem close-knit. You play for one another. It doesn't matter who gets the accolades. There's one goal. How hard is it to go 1 week at a time?
I feel maybe for other people it might be hard, but for us it's not, just because that's what we've been hearing every week since we became players on the varsity team. It's Coach Pav just preaches that you can never look ahead because that's when you're going to get beat.
Yeah, Coach Pav does really emphasize that, 1 week at a time, that respect every opponent that we play and just keep our heads down.
Well, there's no doubt that you guys do that. Coach Pav is one of my favorites to interview. Before we jump into the game against Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, you play a Boardman team last week. Talented, fast, scary, maybe a good word. Your defense was outstanding all game against guys, when I talk with Coach Pav, guys that can break a play at any time. How good can this defense be in this playoff stretch run?
Although we only gave up 6 points last week. I don't think we really played that well.
Okay.
So that just shows us how much potential we have. To hold a team with that many explosive players, just crazy fast kids to only 6 points without really, playing well and missing assignments really just shows you how good you really can be.
Yeah, that definitely gives us some confidence. They have a few D1 athletes on that team that not necessarily we shut down, but we still beat them.
Absolutely.
That just helps us going in. That's a game that you want to play right before the playoffs start.
Yeah.
Well, you're the leader at linebacker. You're a leader in the secondary. That's a great team to face as you get ready to go on a long playoff run. They got a little bit of everything. That was a playoff game for them. It was their senior night. They had everything riding on the line. That's a tough task, and you guys stood up. Defensively, Coach Hurdley, one of my favorites, was probably one of the best football players I've ever watched play at Fitch. How's that relationship for you two as leaders of a defense with a great defensive coordinator like Coach Hurdley?
I love Coach Hurdley. He's also my position coach. He's a linebacker coach. So I've been spending, practice with him every day for the past 3 years. He's a genius coach. He's a really good coach. He's a player's coach. You want to play for him, run through a brick wall for him. So, I think we have a great relationship. And I feel like that's why our defense is good because we're willing to play for him.
Paolo, on the back end, how's it for you?
I'm not with them as much time, but I'm still with them a good amount of time during the practices. And I definitely think he is a genius on the defensive side with his schemes and everything. And one thing that stands out about him is his work ethic too. And this is for all coaches too, but he has these playlists and stuff for all the teams. And I wasn't up at the time, but when I woke up, I saw it was 5:30 a.m. We got a couple of emails, so that just explains, his personality.
He's ready to go at 5:30 a.m.
I don't know if he sleeps too much.
I don't think he sleeps a whole. No, I don't think he's ever slept his entire life. But that's another topic for another time. With Toby Smith and Paolo Papalia, Canfield Nation, Canfield Player Profile, Canfield Cardinals. You have yourself two great leaders that want to lead the Canfield Cardinals into a long playoff run. Is there a difference, a regular season game, when you go out to practice on Monday and you get ready for Notre Dame Cathedral Latin? Did you sense anything different?
Yeah, I feel like you can't even duplicate this because even when we had a really good week of practice before we played Fitch, the feeling this week's just different because it's wow, this could be our last Monday, our last Tuesday, if we don't give it everything we have. And that's kind of just reminded with you every rep. So it's just a different sense of urgency.
How about for you? Different or notice anything?
I totally agree with Toby. It definitely is different. Even this week, it's been cold and windy and rainy, and this is one of the best weeks of practice we've had so far.
It's worth it to go out when you get a state playoff opportunity to practice in cold, wind, and rain. Canfield Cardinals, I will say this. This will not be their last game. This group will come out and play Canfield football like they've been taught, and they know how and represent a great community. Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, they play a good schedule. They play a lot of good teams, so they're going to come in here expecting to win. You've watched some film. Talk about Notre Dame Cathedral Latin a little bit for the Canfield fans.
It's run heavy. They're going to run the ball a lot. They have a lot of good athletes, a lot of guys who can run the ball. They're just going to come at you every single play. The linebackers are really aggressive. So it's just a physical team all around that, and they're not going to give up. It's a physical football team.
Yeah, like you said, they have a tough schedule. They've played two. I don't remember the numbers, but they've played a lot of good teams.
Sure.
They're not going to.
Everybody that gets to this point is going to try to do. I wanted to ask you, see what you thought. I haven't watched as much film as you guys have, but similar style to a Poland?
I would say so, yeah.
So this is your type of game right here at linebacker. Look, you're smiling already. It's Wednesday. This is where you get Paolo got to stay in the back and be patient. You get to get up and do what you do. What's the biggest keys for this group to get victory number one?
I think it's just effort. That's what it is every week. Even last week, not playing as well as we should have. The efforts what's got us a win. And same thing as Poland. If you go through the film, you're like, oh man, like that was rough, but we gave 100%. That's what got us the win. So as long as the effort's there, we're gonna have a chance.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd say is stopping the run because they are predominantly running team. But
right. So this is what I've learned from Coach Pav. We have to run it on offense for 4+ yards. That's safe to say? That's doable. We'll do that Friday night, no problem. And stop them from 4 yards a game. And we will do that too. There's no doubt in my mind. For both of you, anything you want to say to your family? Senior interview for your first playoff run, hopefully a long playoff run. You want to tell your family something, it's all yours.
I guess to my mom, I'm sorry I play football the way I do. And I give you a lot of scares, so I'm sorry about that.
But she appreciates probably every minute, enjoys every second of it. So shout out to Mom.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in my family, everyone supporting me, and since I was in third grade, bringing me to practices every day, and that struggle of being on time with everything, and having other siblings for my parents. So,
isn't it amazing how fast time goes when you guys were those guys that were going to Canfield games watching, and we talked about it at the primetime show. You guys name guys you look up to now. Those are you two. What does that mean to both of you guys that you are leaders and role models for younger kids that watch you play?
Yeah, I've kind of thought about that every game ever since I started, started a game in high school, because it's just wow, I could name what happened in all these games when I was younger, what players did what.
That's awesome.
Now that I'm that, that's pretty sweet.
Paolo, how about for you?
I definitely appreciate that type of experience of younger kids looking up to you, and like the water boys on the sidelines.
Sure.
They're in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and
they're there for you,
and they're cheering us on, and they're unbelievably excited just to see us play and be out there on the field.
That's what Canfield football is all about. Canfield Nation, you have yourself a good football team and great senior leaders with Toby Smith and Paolo Papalia. I'm going to leave you with just a couple thoughts. I love the way you guys approach each week. I would tell you, as a big sports guy myself, enjoy every second, whether it be a walk as a group to the practice field, no matter what it is. It's going to be successful. And I will tell you this, I firmly believe, Canfield Nation, I know you do too, dreams do come true. And this football team's dreams of going a long way in a state playoff are definitely a reality, and it's because of guys like you two. So best of luck Friday night. We'll have the game for you on ysnlive.com. Canfield Nation student body, you better be ready to go because they need you Friday night against Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. Thanks both for joining us, and have a good rest of the week.
Thank you for having me.
All right.